All right, guys, welcome to another episode of We Got Your Mail. It's the weekend, it's Saturday. So, what is We Got Your Mail? Well, whenever we have questions that we can't get to on the weekly episode of Talking to the Medias, we will answer the spillover questions on the weekend, and because we want to get through them all. So, if you reach out to us at T3 Medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, our social media, that was a weird way to say whatever our social media is, just go ahead and reach out to us. Your comments, your questions, we will take them on right here. So, Amy, you're here.
Yeah.
Did you have the questions queued up? You ready to take on the first question?
Let's do it. We got a question from Pop.Culture.Vulture, which I very much enjoy, on Instagram. Saying, last week Paramount got in some hot water when they said that putting film straight to video on demand might be the way of the future, which quite rightfully angered cinemas around the world. Do you think studios are going to rethink their marketing and release strategies after things go back to normal? Or is video on demand only working so well now because it's the only way we can watch new releases? So what do you think, Chris? Is VOD the wave of the future? Are things going to start going back to normal once this is all wrapped and over?
I feel like VOD is the way of 2020. I mean, because of what's going on right now, yeah, but we as film fans and as a society, we are so hungry to get back to normal. We're going to be cautious. I hope so. I mean, as much as I love going to the movie theaters, I am not going to go to the premiere, unfortunately, for a while, until I guess the foreseeable future, maybe until the vaccine or whatever the situation is, until I feel safe, because I don't think that my ability to do what I used to do to my little brother when inventing an invisible wall, is going to work in that situation. So for now, VOD is probably this. If anything, this is going to help VOD become more popular, and we're going to accept it a lot quicker. It's force feeding us that, but people are going to be hungry to get back into those theaters, because there's just certain movies that you're going to want to get that epic experience from. You can't get that from the VOD situation, but that's just how I feel about it. What about you? What do you think about? Do you think this is it, or do you think we're going to get back to normal real soon?
No, I agree with you, at least to a large extent. I think this whole pandemic, in terms of the movie industry, sort of pushed us further and faster down a path that was already happening, with Netflix releases becoming sort of the buzz of, I remember the summer, the first season of Stranger Things came out. There wasn't like a big blockbuster hit. And so we were starting to see things like that, or movies that were exclusively released on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, becoming the big sort of buzzy popcorn, this is what you have to see to sort of know what people are talking about, features. So I think it sort of expedited a process that was already happening. It sped it up for sure, but I have to believe movie theaters will live on in some capacity. I think definitely once we are sort of out of the woods on the coronavirus, and when there's a vaccine, or we truly figure out a way to do things safely, look at the news. People are so hungry to get back to normal, and people so desperately miss the human connection and the normalcy of something like going to the theater. So I think we are going to get back to that as quickly as we can. I think we might see a little more of a split and more of that divide that was happening, of maybe it starts becoming a little more 50-50 of Netflix releasing a lot of the bigger budget stuff. Right. But you're also still looking at stuff like Oscar rules, where like Roma came out, but they still had to get it in theaters for award shows. So I think as long as those systems remain in place, unless they start shifting that because of what's going on, we're still going to see that desire to go out to a theater. It might become, as time goes on, a little more of a niche thing with the rise of streaming services, but, live theater still exists, smaller indie theaters still exist. Like, people do have a passion for the human connection of the arts, and I don't think we're going to lose that 100% for the sake of comfort and convenience. At least I hope not.
No, I totally agree. I'll move on to the next question. I'll take it on here. Rohan Sharma on YouTube commented on the Unhinged trailer reaction that I did. Russell Crowe makes the whole thing stand out, and looks like a fun B movie for the 70s to and the 90s. I'm looking forward. Could be fun. You are correct, as always. She should not have responded that way, but then we wouldn't have a movie. That's a unique way. Now, have you seen this trailer, or did you see my reaction to the Russell Crowe Unhinged movie
I
trailer?
think I missed that.
It was
I
like
think
your classic road rage situation where Russell Crowe, I guess he's at a red light. He's kind of like zoning out, and then the young lady behind him with her son in the back seat just gives that honk, like hey, light's green, and she peels off around him, in front of him, and being the nice, upstanding gentleman he just could not let that go. He follows her, tells her, hey, a courtesy little would have worked. You want to. He's like trying to force an apology out of her, make the whole thing very uncomfortable. And then the trailer just goes into a very dark, stalkery, murdery, like Terminator situation. It's real cringy. And I made a comment that because usually they tell you in those situations you don't know what a person is going through, what kind of weapon they might have, how crazy they might be. They always tell you to. I mean, do you have like road rage? Do you or do you get into it on the road with people?
I am the master of the "what was that" hand, if I may.
So you don't do anything like do you like demand the thank you wave or anything like that when somebody waves you in?
No, I truly I'm neurotic enough. I assume at all times people can and will murder me. So yeah, that's why we get that's the most anger I can summon when I'm really mad. I'm just like, come on, buddy. Yeah, no, I'm a pretty I'll sit there for like 20 seconds, like, all right, I am going to honk my horn.
I'll do it any second now. I'll do it. And I guess she was having a day too, because she really like, come on, get your ass in gear. And Russell Crowe wasn't having it. It looked like it's going to be a fun movie. But my advice was, hey, you never know what a guy is going through, what they're thinking, how crazy they are. They always tell you to just be apologetic, even if you're in the right or whatever the situation is. You never know what that other guy's going to do. And looks like we're going to find out what Russell Crowe would do. So that was my advice. So I can't wait to see it. Check it out if you have a second in the future. I recommend checking that trailer out. It's a pretty good trailer. Check it out. All right, what's the next question?
We have a tweet from JFS, the reviewer, asking, do you think there will come a time when video game studios will resort to remaking a lot of their old games if they can't come up with anything new, kind of like how Hollywood's doing the same for their movies? It's an interesting question when what's sort of the point of video games running out of new ideas? What do you think, Chris?
I'm trying to understand. Like, the question is, like, do you think they'll resort to remaking a lot of their games into movies, or just game? I'm gonna assume that
he means like doing a video game remake. Which I think one thing that my answer would kind of be, I don't think so, because video games you can just sort of continue on the sequel train,
right? Sort
of indefinitely, because you definitely do see like remakes of games, but we don't consider them remakes quite in the same way. Also, if you really love a video game, you just replay it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was exactly what I'm thinking that too. I've seen a lot of like remastered, like if a game came out in like maybe the 2000s or the early 2010s or the teens, and then the technology gets better on a new system or something. There's like a Call of Duty that was out like 10 years ago, and there's now a remastered version. So you got the exact same game, but the graphics are way, way better. And with all the money that they bring in, they can afford to do stuff like that. But usually to remake a video game the way Hollywood does their movies, it's like you said, it's just, there's really no point to it. I mean, a lot of people won't really go back to that. They'll just, like you said, play the game again.
And I feel like, honestly, we kind of do, because you do see so many video games that get remade or remade for new systems. Like, it's a slightly different thing, but I don't feel like that's super distant. The idea of them making a new whatever, Final Fantasy 8.
Right.
I think with video games, we're just more used to, oh, it's the next game, it's the new technology, it's the new system.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So the next one that comes in from at Rachel_reviews, at Rachel Reviews. She tweets, how do you think things will bounce back? Will people go back to the theaters and restaurants again? So we already touched on this a little bit on another question,
yeah.
But ultimately the answer is, things are starting to currently bounce back. There's like these soft openings, 50%.
People are doing it now, and we should not be. Like, are you kidding me? They're like, hey, people are still getting very sick. This is not safe, and people are flooding into bars and restaurants. And I think the only reason they're not in theaters is because they're not open.
Right.
People are missing this stuff. I keep hearing them talk about like, oh, this is going to kill this industry or that industry. And I can't say I'd agree. I can't say I agree, short of companies that unfortunately might suffer big enough financial hits that they go bankrupt.
Yeah.
I think industries as a whole, they're going to know that that desire is there. Whether that's the.
But you're right. People abuse. I mean, even every time, it never fails. I see it on the news almost all the time. Hey guys, I'm the mayor or the governor of such and such, and on Monday we're gonna do like a little opening. We're gonna open the doors to this thing or this beach or whatever the situation is. Now remember, wear your mask, still practice social distance. Monday comes around, it's give me that water. They go crazy. They're like, they hug on each other. Kumbaya. It's exactly licking their palms, high fiving like total stranger babies and things like that. It's the weirdest thing. Like the virus just disappeared because the beach opened. No, but like I said, I'm going to, from this point on, like when the movie theaters open, even if it's a movie that in a normal situation I would be there on day one, I'm gonna give it a week. I'm gonna wait to watch it on like a Wednesday at 11 o'clock a.m. and get my distance on. That's just me.
I wonder if I could use my mask as like a popcorn pouch.
Yeah, hang it from my ears.
If I stuffed it full of popcorn and just had like, that's kind of the dream. Just like a
hang from your ears.
I just want a pouch of popcorn in front of my mouth so I can just sit there quietly, like.
Exactly. I was just about to do. I think Amy, you just invented a new thing.
Honestly, I think if you're anti-mask, you just lack the imagination to see the potential.
Exactly. I think you just invented a new thing for all of our viewers. Like that's totally going to happen now. That mask is going to be there, and it's just. I think that's exactly what's going to happen now. See, you're just an innovator, man. Just always coming up with the greatest ideas. Well, what's next on the lineup?
Just wear your damn mask. I'm not your mother. Wear a mask.
Wear your butter.
Up next. Up next, we got So About Yesterday commenting on YouTube, asking, I would also love your feedback on some movie reviews that I do as well. Do you have any tips?
I do. I got this comment. I forgot which video it was. It was one of the reviews that I did. I think this YouTube channel. Go check it out. I think that mostly their stuff is just podcast form. They record themselves doing their podcast. I think they're all sitting in the same room from some of the videos that I saw. But it's mostly podcast style. They have their own. Like on iTunes. I don't know what the source is. But I think it's on iTunes as well. It's called So About Yesterday, and I like their channel. I don't know how old the channel is, but they only have a few videos up, and the ones that I saw, the way they name their episodes reminds me of how Friends named their episodes, like the one about this. They do the same. So about this or so about that. Every episode is titled So About This and That. It's really funny. So I do have a lot of tips. My channel is like I think about 4 years old now. If you look at the very first video that I did to today, how it evolved and whatnot, I've learned some things. I've stolen some ideas. They say the great ones, what do they say? Good artists like great artists steal something. Like good artists do something, but great artists steal something like that. I forgot
Feel
how that song.
everything. Don't stop running.
Don't.
I think I got it wrong.
You said don't stop. Did you say don't stop swimming?
I said steal everything and don't stop running. Is that not? I think that's advice for robbing a store.
Yes, it's the same concept works as well. Yeah. But if you're interested, so about yesterday, if you guys are interested, I wouldn't mind collaborate. I've seen that. I think you've had guests on your show. If you want to reach out and do something on your channel, I don't mind. There's like a laundry list of things that I could suggest. But the things that I would suggest, I would probably point you in the direction of the things that I looked up that helped me out. I don't know if anything that I would suggest for your channel would work for your channel if you would agree with anything. So I would prefer to like save those quote unquote tips for like maybe a private conversation. So what about you, Amy? I don't think you've seen. Have you looked up the channel when you saw the question?
I didn't get a chance to, no. I feel like you're about to drop your master. Like, I don't want to say it on here, but if you subscribe to Masterclass, I am offering a seminar. I don't consider myself an expert beyond what you guys are doing, but I would say just I think like with anything, people want to hear the information, they want to hear what you thought, but they also want to be entertained and really just trying to figure out like what's my perspective that I'm bringing to the table, whether that's, you know, personality or things I'm knowledgeable about. Like, what are you bringing to the table that no one else is? I think is always a smart way to go about anything when you're trying to create, to draw in other people.
Like I always say on a lot of my videos, I'm a guy who knows a lot about a little and a little about a lot of things. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm just faking it, man. I don't know a damn thing. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, if you guys want to talk about it, reach out to me again, and hey, maybe we can collaborate, or maybe on this show, maybe on yours. Let's see what we can do. And the last question that we have before we go is from Becca Ward. She comments on another reaction that I did to a video called "Donald Trump Ruins an Orgy." This was on the is it Hot and Funny YouTube channel? Mm-hmm. We know some of the actors on the Hot and Funny channel. It's Emmy Potts. She introduced me to Hot and Funny. She does videos on Adventures in La La Land. You might be familiar with that channel. And when I saw her also on this channel called Hot and Funny, I said, "What?" It was suggested to me, I guess, and it was like, Donald Trump ruins an orgy. I was like, oh, I've got to see this. And there's just that title grabbed me. I looked at it, and it was hilarious. So I guess when Becca saw my reaction to it, she wrote the following: "I love this reaction. Thank you for watching." And then she laughed at I think I made like a Hillary Clinton or a Bill Clinton joke. I said something about Billary, and she just LOLs that. But Becca Ward, I appreciate the comment. I guess when I read the title out to you, I think that's the first time. Did I not suggest that video to you? Did you not see that video yet?
I believe I've read the title because it sticks in your brain for sure. I'm scared. I'm scared to click. It's just a combination of words my brain does not want to accept.
I was thinking, how could that be possible? If anything, Donald Trump could only make an orgy better. Go. It was just like what my fiance would have done. Don't knock it until you try. Trust me, it's pretty funny. You would get a kick out of it. A lot of this stuff on that channel. It's a YouTube channel called Hot and Funny. So check it out.
Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. Very clever.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, that is the last question that we have right here. Remember, guys, if you want to send us a question or comment for us to read here on We Got Your Mail, let's hit us up on any of our social media platforms. That's Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of it. If we get it, we'll answer right here on We Got Your Mail. You know, be nice, be respectful. You know, go easy on the emojis.
Keep it interesting. I don't give a fuck. They're just words.
if you're gonna harass
Take back
one,
your dick pic, man. I don't care. Go
yeah,
wild.
I mean, at least be respectful enough to even it out and send them half to me as well. Is what I was getting at.
That's
Don't
all
just
it
be all
has.
one sided. Okay, I like to have fun too. I like to party, but guys, let us know what you guys are always thinking. Well, like I say, put it in the box. And until next time, guys. Hey, peace. I've just been invited to Sundance. I've been doing movie reviews for a while now on YouTube. I have my own blog. For the past couple of years, all I do is I talk movies, talking through the media. We were invited. I